Howdy, all you delicious people. I'm here today to review Invincible episode 5. So, this is season 1, of course, episode 5. I don't know how long this show's going to go for, but when looking at it, I really thoroughly enjoyed this episode. We really got a lot of action packed things going on, and we are incorporating and introducing certain characters which I thoroughly enjoy. If anything, there were some characters we got some glimpses of here and there, and now are brought back to just say, oh, hey, here's these people again fighting it out. I really like the fact that we kind of have... I would say that there is probably quite obviously some ripoffs of some Marvel characters or some DC characters kind of mixed into here. But when really and truly looking at it, with this mixing pot of all this stuff all together, I honestly think this makes for an amazing story. Because we have it to where there's some really... some kind of shady things going on with Invincible's father, especially in this episode, to really just go, well, why didn't he step in? Why didn't he do this? Why wasn't he more involved in this episode? And so on and so forth. I'm like, what is going on here? And we need to get down to the nitty gritty of what is actually going on, because we're kind of really... I'm just so intrigued by this show. I really want to know where Invincible is really going with his life. It seems like Invincible is almost throwing his entire life away within this one episode. And also we have it to where we get this huge action sequence at the tail end of this episode, which was very unexpected. And I'm like, oh my god, this is going to be a huge brawl. And I'm like, wow, this is freaking amazing. So, this show is just... there's so much mystery going on. We have Invincible's mother, who is kind of doing some investigating of her own. And we have it to where Invincible is going to try to take on his own case. And we have it to where that is going to head us on into seeing exactly where this show is going to end, which is going to either be a saddened note, is going to quite possibly be a show where we're just like, oh no, are people gonna die? Are we gonna lose everyone? That's how bad this battle gets. That's how crazy everything is to go within this episode. So I thought that this episode was wow, this is so incredible. And if not invincible, bizarrely. With me kind of still sticking to the 5-minute mark about cryptic things. If you haven't been watching this show, if you haven't been clearly watching this show, you need to watch it now. If you're coming in here, stumbling upon this show just now, hey, 5 episodes in to see if the show is still that good. Yeah, there's some kind of sleeper episodes, but there is also a big grandiose episode like this that I was really happy about and I was really excited about when this was to all pop off within this episode. To me, this kind of had a lot of inklings of maybe the very first Kick-Ass movie, and so yeah. With that said, I think it's about that time. I'm going to just squeak by the otherwise cryptic talk and just go right into spoilers. So let's go into that, call it like it is, and then just go into spoiler time. Spoiler time, it's about that time again to spoil this episode. So we go on here, and now spoilers. So we have Invincible that is he's kind of being late for everything. And when I say everything, I mean every single thing. We have it to where the principal of this school, funny enough, is the guy from Family Matters, the father from Family Matters, and the guy from Die Hard. I don't remember what his actor's name is because I don't have an IMDb, but I know full well who that person is. So going into this episode, we have Invincible, and I don't know his real name. I think it's Mark, I think. So we have Invincible, who is being late for school. He's being late for work to the point of him getting fired from his job. He's to basically be late for every single thing that Amber wants him to be a part of. To the point where in this episode, Amber is like, well, does he really want to actually be my boyfriend or what? And Adam Eve is convincing Amber that she's like, no, he really loves you and he really wants to be here for you. Yeah, like, believe me. And so we have a showcasing of this character called Titan, and we are introducing a new villain called Machine Head. And so really this story for this episode really ties into this character called Titan. Because, like, from a bulk of this, it's a character called Titan. So let me gear up this episode. So we have Invincible being late for every single thing in his life to the point where he's like, well, do I really need a job? Do I really need school? Do I really need any number of things? And so we have, because Invincible isn't even thinking about going to college at all after this, after being a superhero, because he's like, dude, I'm just going to be a superhero for the rest of my life. What do I need school for? So we have the Guardians of Globe celebrating some victory of them winning some matchup, and they are going and all drinking beers all at the headquarters. And we have, oh my god, I'm gonna get some of these names a little bit mixed up and or confused. We have where is the character name? I know it's not. Oh wait, Black Samson. There we go. We have Black Samson, who is. I think he should be much more the leader than Robot is. Like, I reasonably think that we have Black Samson, who is much more of a, because he's the veteran guy, and so we have kind of Rex Explode kind of getting in his face, and that kind of ends up just kind of having Samson kind of like telling these people, it's like, dude, you never have time off, you never have an off day, like, you going and drinking beers thinking that, oh, your day is ended. No, it doesn't work that way. So we have Titan, and this Titan person is to go and rob these banks and destroy these buildings. And when all the people that live in this apartment complex come out of this building and say, hey man, like, Titan, you destroyed my my apartment, like, what am I going to do about this? Like, what can I do now that you destroyed this? And so Titan ends up giving the people money and saying, like, well, I'm sure that you can find a apartment for a couple weeks. Here's some money. I'm like, wow, that's different. We have a villain who is stealing from stuff and destroying apartment complexes, but he's also trying to be helpful. Like, to me, you can't help but look at this guy as a mirrored Luke Cage. Basically, this guy is bulletproof. He consistently puts like rock all around his body. So he's like a mixture of the Thing and Luke Cage. But the Thing, like when this guy turns into Titan, you can't see his facial expressions. He's just rock all over his body. So we have it to where Titan is doing all of this for a guy named Machine Head. And so we have Titan going and getting this this disc for Machine Head, and we have Machine Head who puts this disc into his brain, and we end up finding out that Machine Head is like kind of updating his software. He's having the ability to be able to see all kinds of calculating all kind of risks and everything like that. Every kind of scenario he can figure out. It seems that also he has this character called Isotope that can teleport him if he were to ever be in danger. So we have it to where Titan is saying, you know what, after this last gig, I'm out. See you later, I'm done. And we have to where Machine Man is like, dude, you're never going to be done. Like, you're my best worker. Like, you easily get everything done. And so I'm not going to let you go. Like, I know where your family lives. I know how to get to you. And so, no, this is never going to be over. And so we have it to where Titan breaks Machine Head's desk, and he's like, oh, well, so now you're going to pay me, you're going to keep paying me back. On top of that, now you're going to pay for my new desk. Because this was made from, like imported maple or something like that. So, bizarrely, and also Machine Head's door was made from the exact same imported maple from some foreign country somewhere. Anyways, so going along, we have it to where Titan goes home to give his daughter some ice cream because his daughter is, I guess, very ill. I'm like, okay, so this is like the Sandman-like story where we have a guy coming home and his girl is sick, and we have it to where the wife asks Titan, she's like, well, we're not out of this, are we? And he's like, no. So, here's the thing. So we have consistently Omni-Man and Invincible are training. We have it to where a meteor of sorts is going to come to Earth, and Invincible ends up going and pushing it back, and he ends up doing so before it hits anywhere close to Earth's atmosphere. And Invincible ends up taking the rock and flinging it back out into space. To where Omni-Man says, like, man, that's not even close to the meteor that I got. Like, mine was way bigger. Like, the size of Texas. We have it to where Omni-Man is teaching Invincible all of these things because it seems that Invincible is getting even more and more cocky to where he feels like he knows everything, and Omni-Man is starting to notice that. Where it kind of feels that Invincible doesn't need to get taught by his father anymore because he feels like he's got everything down. But it's going to take Invincible having to lose at some point before Invincible realizes that he may need to backpedal. Because I think Invincible is going to everything half cocked, and Omni Man is realizing that. But there's also something here where I was kind of uncomfortable with, where it was like towards the very end there. I was like, what? I'm like, so. But anyway, so we go on here and uh, we have in Omni Man and Invincible, we have some villain that has some bomb stored somewhere, and we have it to where uh, Invincible is grabbing the leg of this villain, trying to say, "Hey, where's the bomb located?" And we have Omni Man that's saying like, "No, you're doing it wrong," and so you need to drop him or make it seem like you're going to drop him, and then eventually fly back in at the last moment to go and grab him, kind of thing. But we end up having this guy being dropped, and then Invincible's like, "Well, are you gonna go get him?" And he's like, "Yeah, I think I'll get him eventually." And so he ends up dying. He ends up dying. So we push on. So we have Titan going on some rooftop and writing out the word invincible, but spelled incorrectly because paint's expensive and uh, there's too many letters in the word invincible. Because it's kind of funny when Invincible is going after like Killer Cannon in this episode, and he's also going up against some like beast-looking woman. And eventually, once we get to the tail end of this episode, that's when all things start popping off, and I'm like, oh my god, how am I going to remember all of these names for all of these characters? Because I won't. I'll have to figure out who they all are, and if I missed anybody here or there, I'll just have to explain what kind of power set they have, and eventually I'll learn who they are later. So we go along into here, and we have one thing before I want to get to the Titan and Invincible thing. So we have it to where Omni Man's wife is really going and starting to investigate. She had found a notebook that a demon detective had, and she's kind of scrolling through it, noticing that Omni Man had asked for his uniform some time before, and Deborah noticed that. And so she ends up looking for the uniform that Omni Man had, and she goes looking for it, and eventually she does find it, and it's like covered with blood. And she's like, oh my god. And so we have it to where eventually Omni Man comes home, and Deborah ends up scooting away the costume and trying to hide it. So we have it to where Invincible is going to be consistently late for everything, trying to go to meet Amber's parents, and he flakes on that. Every single time he ends up coming in late, but he ends up bringing her a cake to apologize. So every single time Amber gives or Invincible gives Amber her favorite meal, every single time he is to come to her to make amends for being late. But eventually Amber's like, well, you know what? Like, I'm really getting irritated with you always being late. And yeah, like, you are a good kisser, and you are like, and you do bring me my favorite meals and everything along those lines. So, but you're wearing really thin. And so we have it to where Amber says, okay, so you need to come to this like soup kitchen-ish like thing to feed the homeless. Like, you need to do that. And we have it to where Adam and Eve is now, I guess, I'm like, whatever happened to her? And we now know within this episode. So Adam and Eve is having some family troubles, and it seems that she wants to just run away from everything. Being a superhero, having a family that is wanting her to date Rex Splode, and that's it. Uh, Adam Eve tells her parents that, well, yeah, but he cheated on me, and her parents are like, well, I don't care. Date him anyways. And she's like, no, like, I don't want to date him. He's the wrong guy for me. And her parents are like, well, yeah, but he basically makes her feel her like her parents are like saying, well, yeah, but he's safe. Like, he'll keep you safe. And so that's why you should date him. And we have to where Adam Eve says, like, well, I'm powerful. Like, I can do all kinds of things with my power. And we have to where her parents are just like, well, yeah, but that's clearly not good enough. And so we have it to where Adam Eve just leaves her home, and we eventually have it to where when Amber and Invincible are talking about going to this soup kitchen like thing, we have Adam and Eve saying, well, I think, like, how would I chime along and just kind of see what goes on with this? And so now we have to get to the really important part. I hope I didn't miss anything. So we have Invincible talking to Titan, and Titan's like, hey, I need you to help me with Machine Head. Like, this guy is just controlling me, and you know what? Like, you're invincible, you're probably some rich kid, and you don't know the ugly side of life, so let me show you the ugly side of life. And so we have it to where Invincible is kind of seeing the underbelly, I guess, of the city. And so Invincible is like, well, yeah, like, I haven't earned my stripes as a hero. Like, I haven't had as hard as life as this guy has. So, well, maybe I should do something now. And I should go in here without a plan, basically, and just think that I'm just going to win this scenario with just me and Titan on my side, and we're just going to beat Machine Head, and it's going to be easy. And so we have Invincible talking to Omni-Man and his mother to really kind of play back and forth to just kind of see, like, whether he should go and help out Titan or not. So we have it to where Invincible is talking to his mother and father, and his father is like, no, don't do this. You're going to see that once you help out this Titan character is not going to care one lick about you once you help him. Also, this is going to blow up in your face. This is going to be the worst thing you could do. And it's going to hurt you. It's going to happen. And so we have it to where Deborah, Invincible's mother, is like, well, yeah, but you should help out anybody. You should help out everyone. Helping people is what you're supposed to do. Superheroes are just supposed to help out everyone no matter what kind of thing. And so we have it to where Invincible is kind of backing back and forth, thinking like, well, I think I could probably beat this guy, and well, all we need to do is just eliminate one little threat and we should be fine, right? So Invincible decides to go on with Titan and pull off this beatdown that he's going to give on Machine Head, because we have Titan who mentions that he is to have paid off some girl to spend the entire evening with Isotope, which is a guy that teleports. So Titan believes that all they have to do is just beat down Machine Head and they'll be fine. The way that this episode ends, I'm just like, oh my god, they did, like, man, like, there is an awful ending to this episode because, oh my god. So we end up having it to where, and I mean like across the board, there's a lot of awful things that go on. But anyway, so we have Invincible go in with Titan, go in and storm the castle. And so Machine Head goes like, well, hey, how's it going, Titan? How's it going? Invincible and Titan, how's it going? Hey guys. So we have it to where Invincible's like, yeah, like, I'm going to take you down and we're going to do this. And so, reasonably, Machine Head is like, oh, well, yeah, that's great. Go ahead, take me down. And so Invincible takes him down and the episode ends. No. We end up having Machine Head saying, well, yeah, that's all good and great and all, but it's a good thing that you planned this because I already made a plan as well to counter what you're doing. And so we have Machine Head who has Isotope teleport in, and Isotope teleports in a group of villains. We have a amazing looking villain called Battle Beast who just wrecks freaking, oh my god, this Battle Beast character, good god. We have also a character called Furnace. We have a character called like Kirsch. I'm probably saying that wrong. He looks kind of like amphibian-esque. But his power looks like he has like lightning power. We have this like lava looking character or like molten looking character, like Molten Man or something like that kind of looking character. We have this character that bizarrely has like these like tongue like things coming out of his chest. Like it looks like Dr. Octopus almost, like with a bajillion tongues coming out of this guy's chest. We also have, I think I'm missing like a character here or there. But like there's a just a bunch of villainish characters that are all coming out of the woodwork to go and uh, Invincible and Titan. And so we end up having it to where Invincible is just getting his butt whooped. And we have it to where Titan is slowly but surely losing all of his rock. And eventually he is getting his butt whooped as well. So here's the thing now. So we have Omni-Man just out in the shadows, just watching this whole thing go on, take place. Omni-Man is just watching from the shadows, just going like, yeah, huh? Yeah, I knew this was happening. I knew this was going to happen. And so we have Invincible just getting his claw cleaned. And because Battle Beast is just too good of a character, and he is just clocking both Invincible and uh, and Titan. Like single-handedly, this guy could have taken out both of these guys easily. Sadly enough. So we have it to where the entire Guardians of the Globe end up coming to Invincible's aid. And so Black Samson comes in and he's like, "Hey man, we got an anonymous call to tell us to come to you and help you out." So we have it to where Black Samson comes in there and really just tries his best, and he ends up getting freaking, sadly, he ends up getting freaking throttled as much as anybody. We have it to where even when Invincible ends up getting severely angry, still that is not enough. We have to where Invincible kind of like smashes through everybody, but he just cannot smash through Battle Beast. It's just impossible. To where eventually Battle Beast goes and just wreaks havoc on Invincible, just like basically crushing, I'm sure, his entire ribs and stomach and everything. Uh, like taking things and just beating the crap out of Invincible to where like he is down for the count. So we end up having the top Guardians of the Globe characters, like Monster Girl ends up coming in, and Battle Beast just thrashes her as well. Almost to the point of her, we are to assume maybe Monster Girl is freaking dead. Because she ends up getting like two rocks just like smashed into her head, and it looks brutal. And so all the big head honcho characters of this Guardians of the Globe team are already taken out. And we just have like Replicate, Robot, Rex Explode, and Shrink Girl, and like just kind of all the kind of the, I guess, the minor league characters, I guess, of this team going. And oh, speaking of Robot had gone to the Mahler twins and asked to be able to get a DNA sample cloned. I'm assuming that Robot is going to try to clone every single one of the Guardians of the Globe at some point to make his perfect team, where like everyone does what he says and so on and so forth, and he's just going to fire all the rest of the other guys. So we end up having Black Samson, like, even to the point of him getting like him dulcing down all of his armor to try and fight out Battle Beast, but freaking Battle Beast just takes Black Samson's leg and just freaking smashes him against the wall, just making sure that this guy is down for the count. Sadly enough. So we end up having uh, Duplicate and Rex Explode just like gives everybody all kinds of weaponry so they can just like, but all these guys are doing are just trying to just fend off things now. They're not even able to really take down any of these characters. They're just trying to stall as long as humanly possible, and that feels quite obvious. And so we eventually have it to where the sinking girl eventually goes and chokes out the guy with the tongues coming out of his chest, and we have it seemingly where all of these characters are seemingly getting taken down, but not actually out. We eventually just have Battle Beast just going like, you know what? Like, this is not a challenge for me anymore. Like, I am deuces. I'm just gonna leave. I'm done with this. And so Battle Beast just ends up like teleport, or he ends up just kind of like golden dooring himself away. And so we have it to where Rex Explode ends up punching Machine Man in the face. And so we are kind of to say that that all of the Guardians of the Globe end up eventually taking all of these characters out because Battle Beast just leaves. And so we end up having a victory, but there's a lot of losses. Robot ends up running to Monster Girl, who is now turned back into her human form, and they have so many medics and all kinds of things there to try and resuscitate and or revive the Guardians of the Globe. We end up having Cecil, who is looking over the team, and he is just like, yeah, man, like, these guys are really messed up. Probably be best to get some blood samples of any number of them just in case, because they're looking pretty near death. So, and plus, that blood sample, whether, like, I'm assuming Robot is probably going to take that blood sample and be like, well, hey, I got my own Invincible, ha 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 ha, kind of thing. So, we have it to where all of these heroes are to be like helicoptered out to try to basically keep them alive. And Omni-Man is just flying back home. Omni-Man was not involved in that battle whatsoever. He looked on at it, but even when the Guardians of the Globe were getting throttled and beaten the living crap out of, Omni-Man did not step in. So we have it to where Invincible, before he left this Machine Man's headquarters, he was kind of like coherent, and we had it to where Invincible had seen his father in some crack of the ceiling, and then when Invincible blinked again, his father was gone. So we're going to quite possibly have Invincible in the back of his mind thinking that his father was there and he did nothing. I think Invincible is going to eventually question his father if he lives after this. He's going to question his father and question, like, well, like, were you there? Like, it's going to be the endless thing of, were you there? And I think that's what's going to drive Invincible just insane, to just be like, well, I thought I saw you there. Were you there? So we have it to where Titan is checking on Invincible, and he's like, hey, man, like, thanks for the assist, but you know what? I got my own life to protect. I'll just catch you later. And we have it to where, like, yeah, like, Titan was basically just like, well, hey, thanks for taking down my bad guy, but I don't really care about you. I got my own life to live. See you later, deuces. And so we end up finding out that Isotope had left the fight and left Machine Man hanging, because we end up having it to where Isotope is going to be under new management. Isotope had aligned himself with Titan, and so Titan is going to be the new machine head, and so we have Titan's family, who is now making his way into the machine head headquarters. And I'm assuming Titan is going to steal and rob and whatever his way to making this, of course, like his place, his establishment, his whatever. And I was just like, man, that has got to be some cold stuff. Like, we end up having it to where Titan the whole time was using Invincible to become the new king of villainy. He was basically just like, well, hey, like, I like this guy's stuff, so I'm going to take it, kind of thing. And I'm going to use Invincible as a chess piece to get there. And while that also was Invincible as a chess piece, the Guardians of the Globe was also a chess piece, and so on and so forth. And so I'm kind of interested if we see Titan past this point, or was this character just a one-off thing? Like, it would be really interesting if Titan ends up becoming a villain in this story, and a really main villain of this story, and we end up seeing Titan, like, going, oh yeah, hey, thanks for the help, thanks for the assist, but F you, you're dead. I'm gonna kill you. And it would be kind of interesting to see what happens after this. And I can't wait for the following week's episode. But with that said, I'm gonna get out of here because this is a fairly long review. So goodbye, everybody. Goodbye, everybody.